Good morning students, I am T. Dubey. In this class I am going to do the analysis of sample question paper 2023-24 issued by Cbse. I will be discussing some such exam tips that you can score 96 to 100% marks by following a few question papers that I will be presenting. After following this analysis, if you feel that you can score 96 to 100% marks in 1 month's training given by me, then join my writing course, either offline or online, and I will show you how anyone, even an average or below average student, can score 100%, not 100% because Cbse does not give 100% marks in English, but of course above 90%, above 95, I assure with very little training that I will be providing you. As an example, what training I will be giving you, I am showing the analysis of this sample question paper, and do subscribe this channel because I am going to present a lot more papers. They will help you a lot in scoring full marks in each section of your paper. So let me begin the analysis of this sample question paper 2023-24. This is going to be a longer lecture, maybe 2.5 hours or around that. So if you feel that you cannot go it that long, so you can study it as per your convenience. So let us begin the analysis of the paper. See, whenever you are going to do unseen passages, then you need 3 important things. You need a very good reading habit. 2, you must understand the given passage in as short period of time as possible. And finally, when you come and end to the passage, then you must be capable of answering the questions based on it. How you can do all these things in short time and accurately? Step number 1. Read each paragraph very carefully and summarize it in your own words in hardly 7 to 10 words max. For example, look at paragraph number 1. Let us read it carefully and then try to summarize it in our own words. Let us read it. As a high school student, studying poetry can be a roller coaster ride. This journey is punctuated by moments of profound appreciation for simpler pieces and intermittent frustration with more complex works. Let's be real here. Some poems are just plain confusing and no amount of rereading seems to help decipher the intended meaning. The puzzlement that results from such instances can be both vexing and demotivating. If solving a riddle is what was intended, then playing Sudoku is a better option. One is led to ponder if obscurity was the goal. Now, if you have to summarize it in 7 to 10 words, how can you do? In order to summarize it, you just read first or maximum second line of that paragraph. You can easily summarize it. And so far as the following sentences are concerned, you keep them in mind if possible. They are called supporting details. So let us read first sentence once again. It says, as a high school student, studying poetry can be a roller coaster ride. Suppose you do not understand the meaning of this particular sentence. Then you read the next sentence. Its meaning will automatically become clear to you. This journey refers to studying poetry. is punctuated by moments of profound appreciation for simpler pieces. Here simpler pieces means simpler poems, and intermittent frustration with more complex works. Here more complex works refers to more complicated poems. So if you have to summarize it, we can very safely say, so we can summarize it in this way. The author wants to say that studying poetry has moments of, let us use the same word, profound appreciation, and let us use the word occasional for intermittent, occasional frustration. So this can be the summary of the first paragraph. And now let us understand the second one. So have a look at the second paragraph and let us apply the same approach. Let us read it out first. Conversely means opposite to that. Opposite means whatever is written in paragraph number 1. Conversely, some pieces means some poems, resonate with the reader's soul. Resonate with the reader's soul, in simple language you can understand that some pieces are liked by readers, stirring feelings of warmth, happiness and connection to the world. Often, these compositions center on themes that are universally understood, such as love, nature or faith. Being able to actually understand what the poet is trying to say can feel like a little victory and is a welcome relief after grappling with more perplexing poetry. So in first paragraph, the author is talking about more complex poetry, and here he says that opposite to that, some pieces resonate with the reader's soul. This can be written as this. Some poems, some pieces, as I told you, means some poems. So some poems are liked by readers. Let us understand it in this way. And now let us see the third paragraph. Then there are poems that are emotionally charged, the ones that make the reader curl up in a ball and cry or jump up and down with joy. One is left in awe of the poet's ability to convey emotion through words. Let's not forget the downright weird poems. These are the ones that defy categorization and leave the reader to their own devices in attempting to interpret meaning. The author's use of figurative language and unconventional imagery can create a sense of bewilderment that is either intriguing or off-putting. Regardless, the reader can appreciate the uniqueness of the work. So how can you summarize it? Always remember, in order to summarize a paragraph, you need to understand the first line. So here in the first line, the poet says that some poems are emotionally charged. Let us keep this keyword in mind, that some poems are emotionally charged. And now let us go to the fourth paragraph. It reads, despite the wide range of emotions and reactions that come with studying poetry, it can be a rewarding pursuit. Not only does reading poetry allow one to appreciate the artistic beauty of the written word, but also enables one to develop crucial critical thinking and analytical skills. The process of unlocking a poem's meaning can feel like cracking a code or solving a puzzle, but the sense of accomplishment derived from mastering a challenging piece can be deeply gratifying. Finally, impressing an English teacher with a well-analyzed poem can be a source of pride and validation. So in simple language, as I have already given you the technique, that first sentence gives you the summary of the entire paragraph. So let us read. Despite wide range of emotions and reactions that come with studying poetry, it can be a rewarding pursuit. So in simple language, what you can say that despite involving complexity, studying poetry can be rewarding or gratifying. And let us see the final one. Overall, studying poetry is like a box of mixed chocolates. You never know what you are going to get. But whether it's complex, emotional, simple, or just downright weird, there is always something to be gained from the experience. So let's applaud all the poets out there for making us laugh, cry, scratch our heads, and occasionally feel like a genius. So in this paragraph, in this last paragraph, what the author wants to say that it's a studying poetry is like a box of mixed chocolates. You can easily understand and copy also and put it here in the list of your summary. Now, what to do after you have got summary of the entire passage? With the help of these 5 headlines, you have to remember the entire passage. What is where? And then you have to go to the question section. Let us describe these 5 points once again. So in the first paragraph, the author has written that studying poetry can have moments of profound appreciation and occasional frustration. In the second paragraph, he has explained that some poems are liked by readers. In the next paragraph, he says that some poems are emotionally charged. And next he says, despite involving complexity, studying poetry can be rewarding or gratifying or satisfying. And lastly, he says, studying poetry is like a box of mixed chocolates. So if we make a mental picture of the entire passage, then what we say, this author who has written this passage has different kinds of opinions about studying poetry. Ultimately, he appreciates, because he says studying poetry is like a box of mixed chocolates, and towards the end of the last paragraph, he has written that let us applaud all the poets who make us cry, who make us happy. So you make a mental picture of the entire passage from beginning to the end. And now let us move on to the questions. So let us see what questions have been given and how you can answer these questions. Look at question number 1. Which of the following statements best describes the author's attitude towards studying poetry? And you can see your answer will be C. Why? The author recognizes the challenges of studying poetry but also acknowledges the rewards it offers. So here in the first paragraph, he is talking about there are moments of appreciation and frustration. So in this way, it is perplexing. And here he says, despite involving complexity, studying poetry can be rewarding or satisfying. So he has both, that means mixed opinions. It can be frustrating, it can be difficult, but ultimately it will be rewarding. Now let us see the second question. What is the tone of the writer in the given lines from paragraph number 1? Now if paragraph number 1 is given, then you can quickly go to that paragraph and see that he is using words like some poems are just plain confusing and no amount of rereading seems to help you decipher the intended meaning. Then he says that it can be both vexing and demotivating. In other words, we can say he does not like complex poems. He does not like poems with difficult or themes that cannot be understood by readers. So he is critical. So in other words, you can say in answer to the second question, say that author's tone is critical or sarcastic, and you can elaborate or you can quote those sentences from the first paragraph. Now you look at question number 3. Complete the sentence appropriately. The author's use of vivid imagery in the third paragraph, the paragraph is already mentioned, such as curl up in a ball and cry and jump up and down with joy. So here the author has used figurative language. Obviously, greatly affects the reader because, so if you think about figurative language, because it creates or it charges the readers emotionally, you can say. Now, question number 4. This is a vocabulary based question, and here it is asking you to find out the words that are opposite of each other. So there must be some pairs that are opposite in meaning to each other. Let us find out. D, simple means easy, challenging means difficult, and A is also opposite to each other. Intriguing means attracting and off-putting means repulsive, or you can say creating repulsion. Now question number 5. Complete the sentence appropriately. We can say that the author's tone becomes more neutral and objective when discussing weird poems compared to the other types of poetry. Yes. Now if you look here in paragraph number 4, towards the beginning, towards the initial part here, he is criticizing complex poems, but in this paragraph he says it is rewarding. It means he is neutral because, so here complete the sentence appropriately. We can say that the author's tone becomes more neutral and objective when discussing weird poems compared to other types of poetry because he criticizes the complex poems but also says that it has reward. So in this way he has neutral or objective opinion. Now based on the reading of the passage, examine in about 40 words how studying poetry can be like exploring a new city. So this question demands, this is analogy based question, and you can answer this question on your own also. So when you read a new poem, you get new theme, difficult sentences, figurative language. likewise is a new city. The roads, places, addresses, all are new to you. So in this way, there is a comparison between reading poetry and a new city. Now this question number 7 does not need any reference to the passage because it is application based. So here Hina spends hours trying to analyze a poem for her assignment and finally feels a sense of accomplishment and pride once she understands. Then you'll have to choose which of these options is summarizing it. Answer B will be the correct answer because it says persistence makes studying poetry a rewarding pursuit. Here persistence is she spends hours trying to analyze poem, and rewarding that finally she feels sense of accomplishment. So for such questions you do not need to refer to the passage once you have understood. Now state whether the following lines display an example of a simple, complex, emotionally charged, or downright weird. Now what is simple poem? When each and every line that is given is easy for you to understand, it is an example of a simple poem. If you are not understanding, it is complex. If it is making you to laugh and cry, it is emotionally charged. Or downright weird means you are not understanding, it is so obscure. So I think the sun rises in the east, all the words are easy for anyone to understand. So obviously it is an example of a simple poem. So in this way, you can develop your understanding of the reading passage. I have taken 20 minutes in explaining it, but once you understand the pattern how to solve a passage, you can go on reducing the time. Once the pattern is settled in your mind, then time will be reduced automatically. Now remember the pattern that we have applied in understanding this passage. First of all, you have read each paragraph, then you have summarized it, then you have put all the points of the passage together, analyze it, and then you are coming to the questions. So this will help you developing your understanding, because first thing about doing comprehensions is to develop your understanding. Once your understanding is developed and you have understood the methods and approaches, I think it will take very less time, hardly 8 to 10 minutes to solve one passage. Now, keeping this method, let us move on to the second passage and try to save time as well. Now, let us apply the same approach on this passage as well. First of all, we have to read each of the paragraphs given in this passage and summarize it in our own words, and then move on to the question section and answer the questions one by one. So look at the first paragraph and understand it as quickly as possible. Let us read it. The paragraph reads, reduction in green areas has caused various environmental problems. People squeezed between concrete structures are looking for various ways to meet their longing for green. One of the ways to do so is vertical gardens and green walls. Vertical gardening is a unique method of gardening where plants are grown in a vertical position or upward rather than in the traditional method of planting them on the ground. Now, if you have to summarize it, how will you summarize? So, this paragraph can be summarized. What is it talking about? It is talking about vertical, let us say vertical gardening and its importance for people living in concrete structures. Here concrete structures refer to buildings in urban or metro cities. So you have to remember this particular summary of the paragraph. Now let us move on to the second paragraph, because this paragraph is talking about what vertical gardening is and what its importance is for people living in urban areas, or you can say concrete structures. Then what is the second paragraph saying? The purpose of vertical gardens and green walls, which arises from the studies of different disciplines such as landscape architects, engineers, etc., is to close the cold image of concrete and increase the visual value. In these systems, nature and structures are integrated, and thus urban areas and desired environment have become intertwined. So if you have to summarize this particular paragraph, what will you say? So it can be summarized. What is it talking about? In previous paragraph, I was saying that if you want to summarize it, you read the first line of each paragraph and then the remaining sentences that you see just support it. So this paragraph is talking about the, you see, purpose of vertical garden, purpose of vertical gardens and green walls. So what is the purpose? The purpose is this. Number one, if you have to further read it in details, to close the cold image of concrete, one, and increase the visual value. So these are some of the purposes. And then nature and structures are integrated. So if you want to go into details, you can do that also. So the second paragraph is talking about the purpose of vertical gardens and green walls, and this purpose of vertical gardens, as you can see, is to close the cold image of concrete and increase the visual value. Now let us apply the same approach on the third paragraph. Vertical garden case studies often show that though functionality should be in the foreground, when vertical gardens are planned, they are generally made as aesthetic elements in the city's underpasses and city squares, and decorative elements in residences without seeking functionality. So what is this paragraph talking about? How can you summarize it? Think of it and you summarize it in your own words before I give you. If you have any difficulty in summarizing the paragraph, then read it twice. Once your understanding develops, then summarizing it or answering the questions based on the passage will be just cakewalk for you. You should take it easy. Now, so what is it talking about? It says that vertical garden case studies often show that the functionality should be in the foreground, but vertical gardens are planned. They are generally made as aesthetic elements in the cities. So here, in simple language, if I have to summarize these aesthetic elements, so you can say this: vertical gardens, we can say vertical gardens make surroundings look beautiful. Aesthetic elements means to make something look attractive, beautiful. So this paragraph can be summarized that vertical gardens also add beauty to surroundings, or you say visual attractions. So this is the summary of paragraph number 3. And now look at this paragraph number 4. Experts support, let me take it down. Experts support that the visual quality, you have here already visual quality has been given. Experts support that the visual quality and evaluation of landscape architecture is determined based on the satisfaction of the users. Hence, a survey questionnaire was prepared for residents of varied age groups from a metropolitan city. So this paragraph number 4 is talking about a questionnaire that was prepared and opinions were sought, means views or thoughts or opinions were sought from different residents from a metropolitan city. So what was the questionnaire? The questionnaire contained these questions. People were asked, so you study this table. People were asked whether vertical gardens improve quality of life of people in urban areas or not. And these are the responses that have been posted from the respondents. So you have to study the table and understand what this questionnaire is talking about. So here it is talking about advantage, reduce noise pollution. Again, it is another advantage of say vertical gardening. Number 3, increase air quality indoors and outdoors. Whatever responses are there, I am not focusing on that. At present, I am trying to show you what this questionnaire is talking about. Here, cost too much. Again, this is disadvantage. So we can safely summarize this paragraph as advantages. If you have any problem, you can use single words also. Advantages and disadvantages. So this paragraph is talking about advantages and disadvantages. Now moving on to the last paragraph. Paragraph number 5 shows the study acknowledged that vertical gardening has a potential to transform urban spaces into green, sustainable areas, and further research should explore the impact of vertical gardening on the environment and human well-being. Now, so this 5th paragraph is giving you the summary of the survey. So the study acknowledged that vertical gardening has the potential to transform urban spaces into green, sustainable areas. So on the basis of this survey, it can be concluded, it can be summarized, or it can be acknowledged that this vertical gardening has the potential to transform urban spaces into green, but further research should also be done. So what is the summary? In summary you can say, do this, yes. In summary you can say, so this paragraph concludes this, that vertical gardening has the potential to transform the urban spaces into green areas. Now, so these are the 5 summaries, and on the basis of which, let us see all these 5 lines once again before going to. So the first paragraph is talking about vertical gardening and its importance for people living in concrete structures, or you can say urban areas. Paragraph 2 is talking about purpose of vertical gardens and green walls. So when you are trying to keep the entire passage in mind, you keep these lines on you. First paragraph is talking about vertical gardening and its importance for people living in urban areas. The second paragraph is talking about the purpose of gardens, vertical gardens and green walls. Then third is talking about vertical gardens can make surroundings look beautiful or visual attractions. Fourth is talking about advantages and disadvantages, and fifth is talking about vertical gardening has the potential to transform the urban spaces into green areas. So in this way, if you practice on reading comprehensions, I think in a week or 10 days, it will become a pattern of your working and you will be taking very less time. Now let us go to question part. Now see what the question is asking you. First question is asking you, let us read it. Complete the following analogy. So this is analogy based question. So complete the given analogy based on your understanding of paragraphs 1 and 2. In analogy, you have to do comparative study, and one question is sure to come in your final examination. So let us see what analogy is going to be asked. Let us read the question. We can say that the situation of people living in concrete structures is comparable with a fish living in a fish ball. So here, condition of people living in concrete structures or urban areas has been compared to a fish living in a fish ball. This is the comparison that has been asked. And the need for vertical gardens to the need for decorations in the fish ball. So vertical gardening has been compared to, in simple language, if I explain, fish ball, or you can say aquarium. So why is aquarium is provided for fish outside, say, pond, a river or sea? So what can you say? What should be the answer? So here you have to be a little creative or little thinking candidate. Only then you can compare the two situations. And of course, you need one thing very urgently, and that one thing is to improve your writing skills. Because there is a word called panacea. Panacea means solution to all problems. So solution to all problems is writing skill. Develop your writing skills, because you cannot write this sentence also. If you can write, very good. So what you need to write here, that as a fish needs, say, rocks, or you can say aquarium to create natural environment. Likewise, people living in, let us use the word concrete structures need green, or you say vertical gardens to make their physical and, or you can say physical environment better. You can use healthy also, you can use good also. So this is the analogy that can be drawn here. Now let us look at question number 2. Question number 2 is asking, fill in the blanks with the appropriate option from those given in brackets based on your understanding of paragraph number 2. If you remember paragraph number 2, it is talking about purposes of vertical gardening. And here one statement has already been given. Look at this statement. The statement that urban spaces have become more closely connected with the desired natural surroundings through the incorporation of nature and structures in vertical gardens and green walls is a what? So let me explain this question first, because these questions are also very standard questions. So you need to understand what the question is asking. So this statement, urban spaces have become more closely connected with the desired natural surroundings through the incorporation of nature and structures in vertical gardens and green walls. So what do you think about this statement? Is it a fact? Options are given here. Is it a fact or is it an opinion? Now, how to understand difference between fact and opinion? A fact is true to everyone. Like if you say that man is mortal, means man has to die, it is a fact because it is universally true. If you say that this earth is round, it is a fact. So fact is true to everyone. Now let us talk about opinion. If somebody says that your teacher says that you are a good student, so this is an opinion, it is not a fact, because many people or all people do not know about you. So when person, means individual person, a single person says something about something, then it is an opinion, and if all people accept it to be true, it is a fact. So question is, urban spaces have become more closely connected with the desired natural surroundings through the incorporation of nature and structures in vertical gardens and green walls. Can it be a fact? No. Whatever is true in urban areas may not be true in rural areas, because if we are talking about tier 2 cities, or if you are talking about Ranchi, or if you are talking about the area where there is a lot of jungle, lot of greenery, so that formula cannot apply here in your area. So it is an opinion, and because now you have to apply too. So because it is a subjective judgment, objective detail. Now this is also a very standard question. What is subjective judgment and what is objective detail? Subjective judgment is a judgment in which the speaker's mind is involved. Means if you are watching my video and you say Cbse sir is a good teacher, right? So here it is your personal opinion, and whenever your opinion is involved, it means it is subjective. And if your personal opinion is not involved in it, it is objective. So it is a subjective judgment. So wherever there is opinion, there will be subjective judgment. I hope I have been able to explain it. So you can say here answer is opinion and judgment is subjective judgment. Subjective judgment. And I hope I have explained you also why it is opinion and why it is subjective judgment. These are very standard questions and you must solve such kind of questions, because these kind of questions give you confidence. Must solve such kind of questions. Fantastic questions. Now question number 3. Justify the following in about 40 words. Justify the following in about 40 words. While the survey results suggest that vertical gardens may be effective in improving quality of life in urban areas, further research and evaluation may be necessary to fully understand their effectiveness and potential drawbacks. This is not a very difficult question. Let me explain how you can answer it quite easily. In the 4th paragraph, some advantages and disadvantages have been given as we have summarized it. So towards the end of that survey, it has been given that it has been acknowledged that vertical gardening has potential to transform concrete areas into potential green areas. But it has to be substantiated by further research. So this is what you have to write, that though advantages of vertical gardening have been appreciated or acknowledged, but still it cannot be said or it cannot be predicted how effective or how practical it will be. Therefore, research is required. This is what you have to write here. And in question number 5, question number 4, based on the survey results, which two concerns should be city government? Based on the survey results, which two concerns should a city government looking to install vertical gardens address? Very easy. Two concerns means in paragraph number 4 we have seen a lot of questionnaire, means lot of points that have been given. Two concerns, one of them was cost of installation. If you are practicing vertical gardening, so it will be costly. So concern number 1. Concern number 2, you can say it's maintenance cost. If you are practicing vertical gardening, so it is possible to give water when it is in community or when it is spreading, but if you have to maintain it, perhaps it will be difficult. So maintenance will also be another challenge that needs to be looked after. So these can be two concerns. I think it is given also. Now in question number 5, in table 1, the statement 3, vertical gardens increase air quality. Vertical garden increase. Question number 5, in table 1, the statement 3, vertical gardens increase air quality indoors and outdoors, receive the most neutral responses from participants, with 50 respondents indicating a neutral stance. State in one inference that can be drawn from this. First of all, you have to understand what the word inference means. When you conclude something, when you take some decision on the basis of sentences or sentence given, that is called inference. For example, this statement is given, vertical gardens increase air quality indoors and outdoors. So this question was asked to respondents of the cities, and most of them remain neutral. You have to answer why did they remain neutral. You can say that these respondents remain neutral because till now they are not sure about the benefits of the vertical gardens, whether it will be able to improve air quality indoors and outdoors or not, and that is why they were neutral. So you can write this answer. So in order to answer inference based question, you will have to do practice. Right? And if you are interested, you join my writing class and practice solving class. Now look at question number 6. This is a visual question, and the question is asking, select the option that correctly displays what intertwined signifies. Paragraph number 2. So here what is happening, you will have to think, because the question is not asking you to give you a meaning. It is asking you to understand visual meaning of the word intertwined. So what do you mean by the word intertwined? Intertwined means twisted. If it is twisted, like this finger you see, this image is twisted. So what is twisted? Two parts of something, when it is twisted, it is called intertwined. So only one, as you can see, this is in U shape, this is in arrow shape, these are again in arrow shapes, and this is in cut shape. So only one visual is there which is twisted or connected in such a way that it cannot be separated. So intertwined means connected in such a way that it cannot be separated. So only 2 will be the right answer. Now moving to question number, this is This question is for visually impaired, that means those children who cannot see, so do not answer such kind of questions. Moving on to question number 7. Again, in for one benefit and one drawback of vertical gardening in comparison to other solutions, such as community gardens or parks. Again, if you have understood advantages and disadvantages part, then it will be very easy for you to answer this question. It is asking, in for one benefit. So many benefits have been given. It improves air quality. It can be created in less space. It is suitable for urban areas. So there are so many benefits. And what is next? One drawback. Again, we have already discussed 2-3 drawbacks. Cost of installation, then maintenance. So you can use the same and you can elaborate them. So this is how, once your concept is clear, you can score 100% marks in reading section. Now moving on to question number 8. Which of the following is main takeaway? Main takeaway means main lesson. What lesson, what message you are learning from this passage? So obviously the message is about vertical gardening. So you think about vertical gardening. And its advantages has been talked about. So option B will be the right answer, because it says vertical gardening is a sustainable practice that can transform urban spaces into green areas. Last line of 5th paragraph. Research just above that. So I am giving you this much discussion at present because when we explain something, then things become clearer. And once you understand the pattern, how you have to approach, say, comprehensions, then it will be easy for you to reduce your time, because after some practices, after some questions, after some sample papers, it will become pretty easy for you to reduce your time. So I hope you must have understood how to approach your unseen passages. Please try on these methods. First, you read the passage, summarize each paragraph in your own words, write down those points that you are summarizing, then you come down to questions, and that you connect it. It can be achieved through practice. Now, after I have discussed how to solve comprehensions, I am showing you how to do grammar. And as I am showing you, you solve your questions according to the methods that I am suggesting, and you see the results. In 1 week, your mind will start speaking. Your results will start speaking in a matter of 1 week. Now, let me take you to grammar section. Now, let me show you how you can score 10 by 10 marks in grammar. But I would suggest you to do one thing. Please ask your questions to your teachers. Because if you are not practicing, if you are not doing work on your own, then nobody can know your problems. And if you want to score, if you want to take your marks somewhere between 95 to 100% in English, you join my writing class. Because writing is the only problem for all the students. So I am beginning a writing class, you join it. Now, let me take you to grammar section. In grammar section, you will have mainly 3 types of questions: feelers, errors, and direct and indirect speech. You can score 10 by 10 marks in grammar in hardly 1 or 2 hours of class or training. Let me show you how. So this is question number 1. Let us read it first, then I will explain. This is with reference to committee's letter of recommendation that blank space highlights the nominations for a state residential area award for this current year. Now, if I give you directly the answer, you may not be able to understand. So I am giving you the explanation. You write down this explanation and you work according to the explanation that I am writing here. Please note down. The correct answer is or will be highlights. So here highlights will be the correct answer. But this is not what you have to learn. You have to know in each of the cases why that will be the right answer. Let me explain. Now your answer should begin from here. Because. So do not rely your answer until you know the explanation. Because its subject. Relative, its subject that, look at the sentence, that is a relative pronoun. Whose antecedent is the singular noun. What is its antecedent? Singular noun, letter of recommendation. This explanation is needed. Now let me explain. You write down this and then you understand the explanation. So here I have written that answer to this question will be highlights. Now why should highlights be the answer? It is because here that is its subject. And that is a relative pronoun that I have written here. That is a relative pronoun whose antecedent is actually a noun or pronoun for which a relative pronoun comes. So here that is coming for letter of recommendation, and letter of recommendation is singular, therefore that is singular. And because that is singular, this verb should be singular. So this question has been based on subject and verb agreement. So whenever you are answering a question, please answer in this way. Now, let me take you to the second question. Read the given sentence from a recipe review article. Identify the error and supply correction in the sentence. Sentence is, this delightful recipe must keep your hunger pangs at bay with its balanced spices and oriental flavor. Now let me explain. What is explanation? What is the question and what should it be its explanation? So let me write it here. Replace must with will, because must denotes strong obligation or compulsion, and will denotes possibilities, possibility. So when you are looking at the sentence, you just look at the sentence. This delightful recipe means somebody has prepared recipe and a dish has been prepared. So when you are saying that this must keep your hunger pangs, no, It cannot be strong if I am preparing a dish. I am not sure. It may be, it may not be. Therefore, the correct answer will be will in place of must. So this question has been given on modal verbs. Now look at question number 3. Abhilash and Neha had a conversation about the inauguration of Neha's dance academy. Report Abhilash's question. This is a direct and indirect question. Now let me find some space so that I can explain it. So if I keep myself here, will I get space? Myself means not myself, my photo. So if I keep myself here and create space for you here. Look here. So I am giving you a formula for solving direct and indirect questions. If you are able to apply this formula, I think you can very well predict any question, and you can try it before me also, because back to back there are 2 questions based on direct and indirect speech. Question number 3 is also based on direct and indirect speech, and question number 4 is also based on direct and indirect speech. So luckily, just watch me and you try to answer question number 4 on your own. Okay. This kind of question is the best question. Now what happens? Abhilash and Neha had a conversation. So here you have to report Abhilash's question. Abhilash's question. So read the question carefully. Now, so what happens whenever you transform a direct speech question, direct speech sentence into indirect speech? The first part, remember it, the first part is always the reporting verb. For example, this one. Abhilash asked. So because Abhilash is asking a question, this is called reporting verb. Abhilash asked Neha. So this conversation is taking place between Abhilash and Neha. So Abhilash asked Neha. Remember, whenever you have any question based on direct and indirect speech, your answer should begin with reporting verb. This is also called main clause. So whether you call it the main clause or whether you call it reporting verb, both the words are same. But fixed. Your answer must begin only with the main clause or reporting verb. Now, the second part of direct indirect speech is conjunction. So here this sentence is beginning with an auxiliary verb. Therefore, conjunction can be either if or whether. So Abhilash asked Neha if or whether. So part number 1 is reporting verb or the main clause, and the second part is conjunction. Fine. After you have written the conjunction, the third part of indirect speech is noun or pronoun, usually pronoun. So is your best friend helping you in this venture? So Abhilash asked Neha if or whether her best friend. So Abhilash asked Neha if her best friend. This is part number 3. If her best friend, then comes fourth part of the sentence is verb tenses. So what is the tense of this sentence? This statement is in present continuous tense. You can see, is your best friend helping you? So is helping is in present continuous. Remember, present continuous is changed into past continuous. So Abhilash asked Neha if or whether her best friend was helping her. Here you will change according to Neha, helping her in, and then fifth part that needs to be changed into indirect speech is some adjectives or adverbs like this, today, this week, here, now. So these are usually adjectives or adverbs that denote time or a space. So in her, what is the question? In, not her, in that venture. So this will be your answer. This will be your answer. Abhilash asked Neha if or whether her best friend was helping her in that venture. Now, I have written a technique in my book. If you join me, I will be giving you the full training. Even if you do not join me, then the 5 parts that I showed you are these. First part is, say, reporting verb. Reporting verb. This is also called main clause. So whenever you are transforming a direct speech into indirect speech, you must begin it with reporting verb or main clause. Second part is this. Second part is conjunction. Second part is conjunction. After you have completed the reporting verb, the second part will always be conjunction. The third part, pronoun or noun. So third part will be either pronoun or noun. Fourth part is verb tenses. And fifth part will be adverbs, some adverbs or adjectives. Now, so that you may not forget this technique, you can keep this technique in mind. Recavia. I have written this technique in my book, Objective English Easy to Hearts, Part 1. But that is a very costly book. You do not need to buy it. So by applying these steps, you can not only solve any question based on direct and indirect speech, you can know any question before exam. I repeat, you can certainly know any question before exam. For example, so I think I should delete it and I should move on to question number 4. So I am removing it. You write down, right, and then I delete it from here. Now, if you have understood these 5 steps, then your answer for this question, the present question that you have in front of you, must be correct. Must be correct. Here, Sarah, why did you choose to participate in this internship program? Sarah is asking Shabnam. I'm convinced this program has the potential to enhance my abilities. Now, what I would suggest you to do, because for a good student, each and every mark matters. So what you should do is to solve the question on your own according to the technique or using the technique that I showed you. So now I can take it here and bring it back here. So what is happening over here? Space. Have a look. So here statement is already given. So Sarah asked Sabnam in that internship program. So already this reporting for part has been given in this answer. So if I have to, or you should try it on your own. Sarah asked Shabnam. Sarah asked Shabnam. Now again this question, Sarah's question, is beginning with WH word Y. Remember, if statement begins with a WH word like why, when, where, what, then the same WH word becomes conjunction. So Sarah asked Shabnam why, reporting verb, this part. Sarah asked Shabnam, conjunction why. And now third part is pronoun. So Sarah asked Shabnam, why did you choose to participate in this? So why she? Here you is according to Shabnam. So Sarah asked Shabnam why she chose. No, had chosen. Had chosen. So Sarah asked Shabnam why she had chosen, because here this verb of this statement is in the simple past tense. So simple past changes into past perfect. So Sarah asked Shabnam why she had chosen to participate. Participate in. So from here the entire statement is given. And now you see options for these questions are given. So whether our option is given or not. So you look here, why to choose, it's a wrong option. To choose participation is a wrong option. Why he had chosen, this again, this option C is also wrong according to me, because it should be she. But because this is the only option, so your option will be C. So your option will be C here. Option C. Option C. But here it is wrong. So sometimes it so happens that Cbse can give you wrong paper also. So this is question number 4. Let me take you back to the next question. Now look at question number 5. Again, this is a filler question. Let me explain. Read the question. A copy of the plan is enclosed and may be communicated to all team leaders for compliance. I am writing here the explanation so that you can apply this method. Here the correct option will be this, because it is acting as a subject which is needed in the given gap. So here the correct answer will be this. Let me explain. Already I have written here so that you can write it. A copy of the plan is enclosed and may be communicated. So because here you see may be communicated is a verb. So this blank space needs a subject. So the only word that can work as a subject here is this. Therefore the correct answer is this. Now moving to question number 6. Question number 6 is error question. The company aimed at increasing in areas frequently visited by the citizens. What should be answer? I am giving you explanation here so that you can understand whenever you are solving a question. So here perhaps it is taking some more time. Okay, So let me write it here. The correct answer will be M's, because the adverb frequently refers to present time. So I have written the explanation, but let me explain you also. Whenever an adverb of time is given in a sentence, the given verb in the sentence must change according to that adverb. Means here, the company aimed at increasing authority in areas frequently visited by the clients. So here frequently is referring to this word frequently is referring to present time, and because it is referring to present time, this verb must be in present. So in place of aimed, it should be aims. Now let us move on to question number 7, which is also an error question. In conclusion, this study explores the association among short sleep pattern and overweight youngsters. Again, I am writing down the explanation, you note down. So here the correct answer will be this. Replace among with between, because the sentence refers to two nouns. So here, what is happening here? Let me explain. Look here. When we are talking about this particular sentence, in conclusion, this study explores the association. Here, among is being followed by only two nouns: deep sleep pattern and overweight youngsters. So when we talk about two nouns, we use the preposition between and not among. Now moving on to question number 8. Complete the given narrative by filling the blank with the correct option. The experience of nursing an injured bird left me. So here this question is very difficult. So let me explain here. The correct answer will be feeling, because it is a non-finite verb which is needed in the gap. Now let me explain. The experience of nursing an injured bird left me. So here you can see just before the blank space you are getting a finite verb, left me. So when a finite verb is followed by a gap, we cannot have another finite verb. So we need a non-finite verb, and this is the non-finite verb feeling. Here non-finite, here feeling is what is it? Is a gerund. The experience of nursing an injured bird left me. So here it is a participle, a present participle. Left me feeling. So here it is describing this pronoun me. This is a very standard question. What I mean to say, scoring full marks in grammar is possible, but you need good training, because whatever grammar you are taught is not sufficient for scoring 100% marks. And when you do practice it or solve previous year papers, what you do, You just go on solving without knowing whether you are going wrong or right. So in that case, what happens? You can never know your score. You will always remain doubtful. Now, look at question number 9 and solve it first on your own. So if we solve using the technique that we have discussed earlier, what will be the correct answer? And as I have told you, when you are solving a grammar question, you try to solve it first on your own and then match the answer. So vendor, it is nice to see you, sir. Customer, yes, indeed. Unlike last month, I have been away for quite some time this month. So already statement is given. I am not writing the full statement. I am giving you just the answer. The vendor greeted his customer respectfully and mentioned that he was pleased to see him. The customer answered in the affirmative and explained that. So the customer answered in the affirmative till here. Indeed, unlike last month, I have been away for, so your statement should start from here. Means you have to transform it from here. So your answer should begin from here. Explain that. Explain that. Unlike last month, that unlike last month, he had been away for quite some time that month. So this will be your answer. Why? Because here he is changing according to customer, pronoun is changing, and this given verb is in present perfect tense, have been is in present perfect tense, so it will change to past perfect, and again here this word has been given this month, it will change to that month. So by applying the Recovia technique, you can solve any question. Now let me take you to question number, so here answer is also, this is not answer, here this is another question. This question is, congratulations change makers, the regional competition awards have been announced and our school music club blank space the first prize. So what are the options? Had been won, will win, was winning, has won. So your correct answer will be this. Your correct answer will be has won. Because, why? Because the first coordinate clause is in the present perfect tense. Therefore, the second clause should also be in the present perfect. So answer is this. Now let me take you to question number 11. Complete the line from a self-awareness song by filling the blank with the correct option. The river runs through your veins, the trees and mountains, your name. So here options are given. Again, this answer will be call. Now you see here why call should be the answer. Let me give you the explanation. The correct answer will be call because the subject of the verb, the trees and mountains, is plural. So because the subject of this verb is plural, therefore the trees and mountains is plural, therefore the verb should also be plural. And why present? Because the first sentence is talking about present or universal truth, you can say, or general fact. Now question number 12. Identify the error and supply correction for the following note in a passenger's flight instruction manual. So what is happening here? Passengers will not reach the airport late in order to avoid a fine equivalent to 5% of the basic. So this question is based on modal verbs. What should be the right answer? The right answer will be this. Replace will with should. Because the given statement expresses advice. So if you look at this statement, passengers will not reach the airport late in order to avoid a fine equivalent to 5% of the basic fare is actually a piece of advice. The announcer or writer is giving a piece of advice that passengers should not reach the airport. So here it is a wrong preposition. Wrong modal verb. So this is how you can score 100% marks in grammar section if you know why this answer should be the correct answer. This is the only solution, and as I said, join my writing classes so that you can maximize your marks starting from somewhere between 95 to 100% in English. Now, after we have done grammar, it's time to write correct answer or exam perfect answer in literature section. Let me take you to that section as well. Now, let me show you how you can score full marks in writing section as well. Question number 4 is letter writing. So the first thing is to understand what is the demand or requirement of the question. Let us read and understand it. 4A. As Vaishali Nathani of 214 Indriani Apartments, Vaishali Street, Daipur, you believe that forming ecological clubs and appointing eco-minders in your city can aid in the preservation and conservation of nature. Write a letter to the MLA of your city area in about 120 words suggesting the need to form such clubs. Share their importance and implications. Recommend the involvement of resident volunteers for implementation of eco-club activities that nurture and protect the local ecosystem. Now, once you have read this question, ask a question to yourself. Are you understanding what you have to do in this question? This is the first problem that most students face. They do not understand what they have to do. And making matter worse, writing is a great challenge for each and every student. If you want to score good marks, join my writing class and I will show you how you can take your marks from 95 to 100% in 1 month's writing skill training. Now let me show you how you should approach this question. First of all, always remember one thing, how marks are given. So far as letter is concerned, its marks are distributed. 1 mark you will be given on format. So first of all, without writing, you can get 1 mark. If you are not getting that 1 mark, you can go for re-evaluation. So when you are maintaining proper format, you do not have to write anything over here. You are maintaining format, you are getting 1 mark. 2 marks are given on content. If your content means whatever you are writing is called content. So 1 plus 2. Now how do you get another 2 marks? The other 1 mark is allotted or awarded to the students for organizing your ideas. Remember this point. You are given 1 mark for organizing your ideas in the letter, and the other 1 mark is given for accuracy. So if we talk about distribution of marks, without writing anything, you can get 1 mark for format. Then you can be scoring 2 marks from your content side, and 1 mark for organizing your ideas and another 1 mark for accuracy. Suppose you are making a few grammatical mistakes, but 3 marks, 2 marks format and 1 mark organization of your ideas. These marks should be confirmed. Now, what is the format of the letter? I have written this letter and I'm showing you how to organize your ideas. Let me show you. So here, now you look at this answer very carefully. Very carefully. You do not have to do anything. You have to just copy paste any answer like this. Let me explain. The first part, this part that you can see here, is sender's address. Remember, sender's address. So your letter must begin with sender's address, and you have to write the same address that is given in your question. You do not write anything from your side. So 214 Indrayani Apartments, Vaishali Street, Daipur is the address given in the question. Then you have to leave 1 line space, and then you have to give date. Just copy it. In place of 25, you can write whatever your examination should take place in the month of March. So you can begin your practicing. Suppose your examination is going to be held on 5th March or say 10 March. So you start giving that March so that it can remain in your habit. So in place of 25 November, you can write there 5, and in place of November, you can write March 2023. So it is confirmed that your examination will be in the year 2024. So 2024, March 2024 is fixed. So far as the date is concerned, you keep it changing. So first is sender's address, second is date, third part of the letter is address of the addressee. This is called address of the addressee, or the person to whom you are writing. That address is called receiver's address or address of the addressee. So first part of the letter is sender's address, followed by 1 line gap, then date, then 1 line gap, then receiver's address or the address of the addressee, followed by which subject. Just after the word subject, you can see colon, not semicolon. 2 dots up and down or 2 full stops up and down is called colon. You have to use the same punctuation mark. And then you have the subject. Suggestion regarding the need to form ecology clubs. This is what is your question asking. So here write a letter to the MLA of your city area in about 120 words suggesting the need to form such clubs. This such word stands for here ecology clubs. So the question itself gives you the subject. Now I'm taking you to the answer part. So here let us move to, so this is your subject, and then this part here you can also write dear sir or madam, dear sir or madam of your choice, called salutation. It's called salutation. So what are these parts? First part is sender's address, one line gap, date, one line gap, receiver's address, followed by subject, followed by salutation. These are the 5 parts of this letter. Then body of the letter. You can see body of the letter is divided into 3 parts. First paragraph is introductory paragraph. Second paragraph is the main paragraph that includes important information. You can read it and understand. And the last part is expected response. This is expected response that you are expecting the person to take. And this part is called complimentary clause. And last part is the writer's name. Here you can give signature also. So in this way, a letter has 8 parts. A letter has 8 parts. A letter has 8 parts. I am not writing, I am speaking. You can write down sender's address, date, receiver's address, subject, salutation, body of the letter, complimentary clause, and sender's name and signature. If there is a post or designation, that post or designation is to be written just below the name. Now talking about marks and how you can get full marks. So first of all, this part from the MLA to Vaishali Nathani is called your format. This is how the letter should be organized. 2. This should not change. Your organization of ideas should not change. So if you are maintaining your format properly, the ideas are automatically organized. So 1 mark from format, 1 mark from organization of idea you have got. You must write something in content, so you can get 1 or 1.5 mark from content side also. That means if you practice a little, 4 to 4.5 cannot be stopped. Nobody can stop it. And if you practice a little, keeping in mind grammatical accuracy, spelling accuracy and grammatical accuracy, of course it needs some practice, then all 5 by 5. Now you can attempt the second question using this format. Now let me take you to the second question, that is analytical paragraph. Now let me show you how you can score full marks in analytical paragraph writing section. Look at the question and let us understand how to write an analytical paragraph. Look at 5A. Sailing of class 10 is contesting for the post of the junior school captain in the upcoming student council elections. Given below is her character traits graphic shared in the public domain by the school counselor for the awareness of student voters at school. So this question is giving you the information that there is a student whose name is Saving of class 10 and she is contesting for the post of the junior school captain in the upcoming student council elections. And here this graphic you see below, this graphic is showing her character traits. Now what are character traits? Character traits are your qualities and both, you can say, merits and demerits. For example, if you are a hard-working student, it is your characteristic number 1. If you are disciplined, if you are punctual, if you are cooperative, if you are sensitive, if you are multitasking, if you are so these are the positive qualities of a student. Now there can be some negative qualities as well. You can be a little impulsive, you can be a little negligent, you can be careless also, you can be irregular also. So a combination of good and not so favorable qualities of student are called character traits. Now whenever you have to write an analytical paragraph on character traits of a student or any individual, I would suggest you to write your paragraph supporting the candidate, or you say describing the positive qualities. Once it is sure that you are going to write for the positive qualities or you are going to describe the positive qualities of that particular student or particular candidate, then another problem that you will face is how to write. That is, but first of all, let us see what are the qualities this saying has been attributed. So the graphic begins with an average academic performer, then maintains disciplined and study routine, disciplined study routine. So this is positive. Focuses on excellent outcome, again this is positive. Exhibits good decision making skills, positive. Helps his peers in their difficulties or academic or personal. Then believes in one for all and all for one policy. Works hard to achieve goals. Then here you have thrives only on appreciation. So here this is negative. Then you have is less impulsive but highly sensitive. Is an average academic performer. So again it is a combination or blend of both good and bad qualities. Not bad is not a good word. You can say it's not so favorable. So how to include all these qualities? That will be your challenge. My suggestion is you start making your own sentences and creating your own paragraph, because even if you are trained and you do not write it, you will be mugging up or memorizing. So the best solution is to improve your writing skills. Now look at this answer and remember the qualities that we have discussed. In this answer you have to see how those qualities of sharing have been used in sentences, because you have to frame your own sentences. You cannot memorize everything, but it will show you how you should make your own sentences and use those points. So let us have a quick reading and understanding of this paragraph. As a responsible student voter, I believe sharing possesses the necessary traits to be an excellent school captain. Her disciplined, so this is quality number 1. Her disciplined study routine and hard work ethic indicate her ability to prioritize and manage her time effectively. Next, sharing is less impulsive. Impulsive means one who takes decision without thinking. So sharing, in other words, the sentence wants to say that sharing is thoughtful or careful about decision taking. So sharing is less impulsive but sensitive and focuses on the excellent outcome of tasks assigned to her, demonstrating good decision making skills. Next, additionally, you can also use the word also or apart from these. So additionally, her willingness to help peers means those who study with her. So additionally, her willingness to help peers in academic and personal difficulties highlights her empathetic and caring nature. Next, furthermore, again, this connector is also used to add another quality. Furthermore, sharing believes in one for all and all for one policy, which is pivotal. Pivotal means essential, important or indispensable in fostering a sense of community and promoting inclusivity in the school. While she may be an average academic performer, her positive attitude and desire for appreciation will motivate her in her pursuit of excellence. For these reasons, this is concluding sentence. For these reasons, I believe she has the potential to be a good school captain and I support her candidature. So I am analyzing this question to show you how a well-rounded answer looks like. It has a perfect beginning, it has a perfect middle, and it has a rounded concluding sentence. So an analytical paragraph shows all these three qualities. It must begin perfectly, it must have good middle, and it must summarize or conclude the paragraph with a rounding sentence. So it can be mastered only through practice. So you practice it on your own or you join my writing class. I will show you how to perfect a writing skill. Now, after we have discussed it, let us move on to literature section and how you should write your now, after we have done the writing section, let us attempt the literature section. Let me show you how you should score maximum marks, or you can say full marks in this section as well. So before we begin, let me give you a few tips what you should do in this section. This question paper will have, this section will have options in each part. Means question number 6 will have two questions, 2 extracts. So first of all, you will go through both the extracts and try to find out which of the 2 is easier for you to attempt. Because examination is not the time to show your knowledge, it is time to score marks. So even if you are scoring 2 more marks, it will add to your percentage and it will matter in each section. Why only in each section? It will be true to each subject. So let us see here also which of the 2 questions is easier for you to do. So this question, as you can see, the question he had tried is from the making of a scientist. And the extract is this. First question is a straight one inference. Second is true and false. Third is which phrase, vocabulary based. And this question is from the proposal, Lomov. And here it is reason. Why is it fair to say that Lomov's tone? Then here A to C, identify which one correctly corresponds to the extract. And number 4, if an actor were to enact this extract, what would he be required to focus on while modulating his voice? So according to me, the first extract is easier because here in second extract, that means in or section, tone has been asked, inference has been asked, 4 options have been clubbed together. So these can be a little trickier for you and this is straightforward. So I would suggest you to go for the first extract. So let us see how to answer this extract that I am showing. Let us read out the extract first. Everyone assumed the spots were just ornamental, a bride said. But Dr. Urquhart didn't believe it. To find the answer, a bright and another excellent science student first had to build a device that showed that the spots were producing a hormone necessary for the butterfly's full development. This project won a bright first place in the county fair and entry into the International Science and Engineering Fair. There he won third place for zoology. He also got a chance to work during the summer at the entomology laboratory of Walter Reed Army Institute of Research, the making of a scientist. Now, let us come to the first question. First question is asking you, state this one. State any one inference about Dr. Urquhart from the given context. And this context is, everyone assumed the spots were just ornamental, a bride said. But Dr. Urquhart didn't believe it. Now what you have to do here in this question is, you have to give a reason that everyone present in that fair assumed means suppose, that the spots on the butterfly were just ornamental for decorative purpose. But Dr. Urquhart didn't believe. So why did Dr. Urquhart not believe that the spots on the butterfly were ornamental? So how can you answer this question? Very simple. You just need to do a little thinking. Let me write it here. Reason was, why did Urquhart not think that the spots were ornamental? Number one, he was, let me change the color. Because red will be more prominent. Okay. So this is answer to question number 1. He, that means Dr. Urquhart, was a scientist. He was a scientist. And therefore, did not believe in assumption. So this can be one explanation, one reason, because Dr. Urquhart was a scientist. And scientists do not believe or do not accept conventional wisdom. Conventional wisdom is what people say, unless they prove it scientifically. So this can be your correct answer. So hope this is very clear. Now moving on to second question. Write it down. Moving on to second question. State true or false. None of the items A to D below can be applied to the question. What is the purpose of the 12 tiny gold spots on a monarch pupa? So the question is asking that there are 4 words, 4 terms have been given, and this statement, what is the purpose of the 12 tiny gold spots on a monarch pupa? So you have to tell which of these 4 terms applies to this question, and it is already clear none of the terms A to D below can be applied to the question. Why? This question is neither a hypothesis, nor an assumption, nor a premise, nor a theory, and explanation of each of these terms has been given. So simple answer is, when we talk about hypothesis, a hypothesis is a proposed explanation for a phenomenon. So because you can simply say that none of these terms applies to the given statement or question, because it is a simple question. It is not a hypothesis, nor assumption, nor premise, nor theory. So that is a simple explanation. Now moving on to question number 3. A bride's approach towards a finding the purpose of the gold spots on a monarch pupa was highly effective. So why? It's again very easy. So this will be a 2 marks question, as you can see, and you have to explain it in about 40 words. So if you read the extract carefully, the keywords will come out and you have to frame your own sentences. For example, let me explain. A bride's approach towards finding the purpose of the gold spots on a monarch pupa was highly effective. So how was it highly effective? Answer is this. Here, this part is giving you the answer. Why was it highly effective? Number 1. In order to find out the answer, a bride and one of his science student, excellent science student, first had to build a device that showed that the spots were producing a hormone necessary for the butterfly's full development. And this project, so these particular lines, starting from this part to this part, should be used as keywords in answering to that question. Should be used, this part, that a bride did not just assume it, but in order to go deep into it and in order to find out the purpose of the tiny spots, the 12 tiny gold spots on the wings of the monarch pupa, first of all, he and another science student had to build a device, and then they went on to show that these spots were not just ornamental. They were producing a hormone which was necessary for the butterfly's full development. So this is your answer. So you just need to think which will be the correct keyword for answering your question. Now let us move to the 4th question. Which phrase would correctly substitute a chance? This is a very easy question. So when we talk about a chance, we can say an opportunity, we can say a moment, we can say an advantage. So here he also got a chance. That means he also got an opportunity, he also got an advantage, he also got a lucky break, you can say. But you will have to work on your vocabulary as well. Hope you are understanding how to answer these questions. Let us move on to the analysis of the next extract. Now, let us do question number 7 after we have done question number 6. And this question too has 2 options. So you apply the same approach. First of all, observe the two extracts and go for the one that is easier for you to do. So this question 7a is from Fire and Ice, and the second extract is from the poem Fog. So my suggestion to you will be for this one, Fire and Ice, because number 1, it is the starting part of your book, so you must have a greater command over this poem in comparison to Fog. And even the questions that we see here, it is filler question. Then here second question is speaker. What does the speaker's alignment with those who favor fire, ice suggest? Which of the following best describes? So this is vocabulary based question, and here it is comment. So I think questions are also, in what way does the language used in this poem challenge traditional ideas? So here you may not be able to think what traditional ideas of poetry is. So it can be trickier for you. Next, what is the significance of the use of the word little here? Again, it can be a little trickier. Complete the sentence with appropriate option. So here the lines from the poem tell us that the city is, okay, and identify the type of imagery used in the lines of the poem. So clearly all these questions show that they are a little trickier than the questions that are given in 7a. So what I am trying to suggest you, or the tip that I am giving you, is do not start answering the questions as soon as you get the question paper. Take your time, think over it and go for the questions that you can do confidently. Now let us see 7a, how to answer such questions. Let us read the extract first. But if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction ice is also great and would suffice. You must have read it a number of times, so I am not going to explain its meaning. I am going directly to number question. Question number 1. Fill in the blank with one word. When the speaker says that ice could also bring about the end of the world, he refers to as he means for destruction. So here this extract is talking about ice, and already this statement is talking about when the speaker says that the ice could also bring about the end of the world. So there can be two options. If you are writing he refers to ice, it means you are repeating the same word that is given in the line. So here the question setter is asking you its symbolic feelings. So you have read that ice is symbolic of these things. Ice is symbolic of hatred. Ice is symbolic of malice. Ice is symbolic of what else can you say? Hatred, malice, ill will, you can say ill will, another animosity. So these are the words that are symbolic of the word hatred. So here you simple word you can use hatred. Next, look at question number 2. What does the speaker's alignment with those who favor ice mean? Means, first of all, you have to understand what the question is asking you to do. So the poet's alignment with those who favor ice means that the poet also agrees with those who think that ice can also be great for the destruction of this world. So the poet's alignment means that here you can understand, you can also use the word agreement. So the poet's agreement with those who favor ice as a means of destruction to the world suggests that he must have seen destruction happening due to hatred, say ill will, or you can also say that bad feeling. So you can write such kind of, because those who think that ice has been the cause for destruction means they have seen that bad feeling or animosity or hatred has been the cause for the destruction of the world. Now moving on to question number 3. You write down question number, which of the following best describes the speaker's attitude towards destruction caused by ice? Indifferent. The word indifferent means not interested. In simple language, when you are not interested in anything, you will be said to be indifferent, or another word, apathetic. So indifferent is not. Fearful, no. The extract is not showing that the poet is afraid of destruction. So fearful can also not go. Dismissive, no. The poet is not dismissing that ice will not destroy the world. So the only option left is respectful. But how can respectful be? Here you see he is using the word great. The poet is using the word great. He says to say that for destruction ice is also great. So here the word great shows his acceptance, his respect to ice as a means of destruction. So this is correct option. And the last is comment on the poet's use of language in these lines. Again, not very difficult thing to. Now, how to answer this question? So to answer this question, you have to see the structure of the sentence. But if it had to perish twice, I think the structure of the sentence is very simple. You can understand each and every word. So you can write like this. You can write the poet has used simple and easy language in the given extract. It is easier to understand the message of the poem. The two forces of destruction, fire and ice, convey the poet's central idea of destruction of the world. The use of language is intended to reach out to wider reader. So this is how you can comment on the use of language. Write down this answer, and now let us move on to the next question. Now, after I have shown you how you should answer the extract based questions, let me show you how you should attempt your short answer type questions. Question number 8 contains 5 questions, out of which you have to answer only 4. Again, because you have one extra question, so you tick those 4 questions about which you are more confident, or you can answer clearly. As I have already told you, your first aim should be to score more and more marks and not to show how much knowledge you have. So let us see which of the 4 questions you should attempt from here. The first question is identify the opinion that the traditional baker and his bread play a significant role in the cultural and social fabric of Goan society. This can be answered. Easier question. How does Leslie Norris use vivid imagery and metaphorical language in A Tiger in the Zoo to effectively depict the confinement and oppression experienced by the captive tiger? I think this is also not very difficult, and you can choose to answer it. Question number 3. Explain how the description of the devastation caused by the hailstorm reflects the sadness within Lencho in a letter to God. This again is not very problematic. It is the first question, first chapter. So you should not have any problem. Kitty was a trusted friend to Annie. Elaborate. Again, not very difficult. Then last question. How does Ogden Nash's The Tale of Custer the Dragon challenge the notion that individuals should conform to societal expectations? So this question, the last one, contains something that you may feel uncomfortable to answer. So my suggestion to you will be to go for the first 4. Now, once you have decided which of the 4 questions you are going to attempt, then how you should attempt and how you should prepare henceforth. That means from here onward. First of all, there are 2 ways of preparing for the final examination. Number 1, make a list of the keywords that you will be using in answering a particular question. Second, you read the complete answer and try to revise it. So I am going to show you both the approaches, how to prepare your keywords and how to apply those keywords in your own sentences. I would strongly advise you to learn framing your own sentences, because if you can frame your own sentences, it will help you in other subjects as well. You can write your SST answers properly, you can write your science answers properly, you can write your mathematics statement. So developing just sentence framing skill is very, very important. Now I have prepared the keywords for each of these 5 questions and I am showing you how you can apply those keywords in your own sentences. So this is approach number 1. So here we go. So these are the 4 keywords that should be used in answering the first question. Read these 4 keywords very carefully. First of all, let me take you to the first question once again. You look at the first question. Justify the opinion that the traditional baker and his bread play a significant role in the cultural and social fabric of Goan society. In simple language, you have to justify this given statement that the traditional baker and his bread both play a significant role, important role in the cultural and social fabric of Goan society. In other words, how does the traditional baker and his bread play an important role or is a significant part of Goan culture and its social fabric? So you should begin this answer like this. The first point is, the Portuguese introduced their famous loaves of bread. So you can begin that the traditional baker and his bread play an important role in Goa's culture and social fabric because after the Portuguese introduced their famous loaves of bread to Goa and after they had left, here might have vanished means after they had left, the makers of bread are still there. The age-old, time-tested furnaces still exist, and this continued existence of Goan bakers and their furnaces represents a living connection to Goa's social fabric and to cultural and culinary heritage. So first of all, you have to take an starting or introductory sentence, then you have to build up your middle with the keywords, and then you have to write a rounding up concluding sentence. So these 3 qualities make an answer exam perfect answer. Keeping this technique in mind, let us have the second question. Let us look at the second question. Second question is, How does Leslie Norris use vivid imagery and metaphorical language in A Tiger in the Zoo to effectively depict the confinement and oppression expressed by the captive tiger? So again, here you have to use these as your starting point. In the poem, A Tiger in the Zoo, you have to start like this. In the poem, A Tiger in the Zoo, the poet Leslie Norris uses vivid imagery and metaphorical language, and then you add these points. Use of words such as vivid stripes and packs of velvet quiet creates a powerful image of the tiger's physical beauty and grace. Then, moving on to the second point. The metaphorical language used in quiet rage and ignoring visitors conveys the tiger's frustration and anger at being confined, because the statement is talking about tiger's confinement. And then towards the end of the poem, you have seen that he has used his brilliant eyes, which is also metaphorical in nature. So the tiger's brilliant eyes looking or staring at the brilliant stars depicts the tiger's longing for freedom and its natural habitat. In this way, the poet Leslie Norris has used metaphorical language and imagery to depict tiger's frame of mind. Now, moving on to question number 3. And then, as I told, that first thing for you is to understand what will be the appropriate key points. So, you note down these key points and write answer to this question number 3, in your own words. And again here, question number 4, again very easy. How does Kitty was a trusted friend to Annie? So in what way Annie Frank's diary Kitty was a trusted friend to her? This is again very easy, and the key points that are required will be these. So these will be the key points that should use. You can begin with, so far as Kitty was concerned, it was a silent confidant in Annie's hidden world. Within its pages, she poured out her deepest thoughts of fears during the hiding. And the diary became a sanctuary, offering solace and a timeless voice against the backdrop of wartime adversity. So these kind of keywords will show that you are a serious student and you will be able to score maximum marks. Now, after we have done these 4 questions, let me take you to another question. Now, let us see out of the 3 questions given under question number 9, which 2 you should answer. Look at question number 1. The story, A Triumph of Surgery, is a powerful example of the importance of saying no. Explain. Question number 2. How does education play a transformative role in Wholly's life? Wholly. And question number 3. The various elements of Robert Arthur's writing style work together to create a sense of tension, uncertainty, and suspense, well suited to the mystery and suspense genre of the story. The Midnight Visitor. Comment with reference to any one element. So if you have to choose only 2 out of the 3 given questions, which 2 will you do? Because ultimately it is you who have to sit for the exam and write your answers. So according to me, it should be 1 and 2, because here it is talking about the elements of suspense. So you may not be able to connect what are the elements that are creating suspense or mystery in the story, The Midnight Visitor. But you have read it properly that A Triumph of Surgery is the first chapter and this volume is easier to understand. Now what I am doing, I am showing you the keywords for question number 1 and you write the answer in your own words using the keywords that I am showing you, and then show your answer to your teacher and ask what marks you will be getting if you are writing like this, because you cannot understand your own problems, the grammatical errors that you make, organization of thoughts, spelling mistakes. So it is always good to show your answers to your teacher. So look at the keywords for question number 1. Value points. Importance of saying no when it comes to making decisions that affect the health and well-being. Mrs. Pumphrey's love and indulgence for her dog Tricky makes him overweight, dull, finally sick. Despite Harriet's advice against doing so, Mrs. Pumphrey is unable to say no. And this habit of saying no puts her dog in danger. So this is how you have to organize and show. Then you will learn to underline the keywords. Learn to underline the keywords. Now look at question number 2. In question number 2, you have to answer, how does education play a transformative role in Foley's life? Let me give you hints. So if you observe Foley's life right from the start, the day when she enters school and the time she decides to become a teacher towards the end of the story, is all because of education. But it is you who have to organize these points in a perfect answer. And the keywords to this question will be, so look at these key points, and using these key points you structure your answer and show it to some teacher and seek his or her opinion how you are writing. Now after you have seen how you should approach short answer type questions, let me take you to long answer type questions. Now let us move on to long answer type questions. And again, as I have suggested you, do not start writing an answer until you understand which of the two will be easier for you to answer. So in this case also, first of all, let us look at both the questions and go for the one that you feel will be easier for you to answer. Look at 10A. It asks you, you have been asked to present an evaluation of the approaches. So here you have to ask, you have to present evaluation of the approaches of the mothers of both the baby seagull and Amanda towards helping their children. Means you have to work as an observer of the approaches adopted by Amanda's mother and baby seagull's mother in the story, his first flight. Now write this presentation draft including your insights in about 120 words comparing the approaches of both parents. So here you have to compare the approaches applied by Amanda's mother in rectifying, or you can say making her child perfect, and or you can say understanding her children better, and then the baby seagulls. So there will be a comparison between the approaches adopted by both the mothers. Now in question number B, what you have to do, let us see. You have been chosen to address a student gathering from the neighborhood schools to speak on the resilience of human spirit required to transcend discrimination. So this phrase itself, I think, will be a little complex for students of standard 10 to understand. Prepare the speech draft in not more than 120 words with reference to the commonality of themes in Nelson Mandela, Long Walk to Freedom and The Trees by Adriani Rich. Now what is happening over here? So you have to compare the thematic messages of themes both of Nelson Mandela and The Trees written by Adriani Rich. So both the chapters, Nelson Mandela and The Trees, are more complex in understanding for students in comparison to His First Flight and Amanda. So I would suggest you to go for the first, that means go for A. So these tips that I am offering you are going to be very helpful in approaching your question paper. Now, this time I have written the answer in full and taken points from the answer that has been provided by Cbse. What you need to do is you write this answer in your own words and show it to some teacher. So this is the answer. Have a look at this answer. In comparison to Amanda's mother, the seagull's mother seems to be more attuned to her child's needs. That means the seagull's mother understands her child's needs better than Amanda's mother. It is true also. She recognizes that the baby seagull is capable of flying. This must be included and wants to help him achieve his full potential. So this is her understanding. Now talking about Amanda's mother. In contrast, Amanda's mother seems to be too focused on correcting her daughter's flaws and may not be paying enough attention to her strengths and abilities. So one mother is attacking the child's flaws or weaknesses and the other understands what her child can do and how she can help him realize his full potential. So these are the differences between the approaches applied by both the mothers. Moving on to the last paragraph that you have to write your insights. So even though both mothers have good intentions, neither Amanda's mother wants any harm to her child nor the seagull's mother, but their approaches are different. So this is how you have to present your own insights as well. So taking the hints and discussions that I have given you, you write your own answers and present it to your teacher to show how exam perfect your answer is. Moving on to the last question of this question paper. Now look at the last question. Let us see which of the two options you should go for. Let us read A first and see. Imagine that M. Loisel from The Necklace by Guy de Maupassant writes a diary entry exploring the theme of class and social status and the nature of social mobility in the context of his own experience. Write this diary entry as M. Loisel in about 120 words. And B. A character arc is the transformation or development of a character throughout a story and refers to the changes a character undergoes as a result of their experiences, challenges, and interactions with other characters. In the light of the above information, trace the character arc of the thief in Ruskin Bond's The Thief's Story in about 120 words. So in first case, you have to write a diary entry in which you have to describe the experiences that M. Loisel has gone through in the story, the necklace, and in the second option, you have to write the character arc of Hari Singh, the thief, in the story, The Thief's Story. So if I have to go for one of the two, I'll be going for the first one. Because Here what you will do, you will start in question number 2, you will start writing the summary. So you will not be able to understand character arc, that he enters as a thief in the story and gets reformed. So it happens like an arc. But so far as experience, so far as diary entry is concerned, you have been doing it, you know it, so you are more familiar with first option than the second. So I would advise you to go for the first. And I'm showing you the answer. You read it and rewrite it and show it to your teacher and ask what marks you will be getting if you write like this. And if you are making mistake, what you should do. So look at the answer. So look at this answer option, read it carefully, because this is an assignment that I am giving you to do. So you do it, but do not copy paste. Take out the key points. Using those key points, you rewrite this answer and show it to any other teacher, or you can join me also. So it's all in the analysis of the sample question paper 2023-24 issued by Cbse. And I hope that it will be helpful to you, or it is helping you a lot. Next, I will be doing analysis of another sample paper and previous year question paper. So you wait for that. That will also help you a lot. So it's all from my side.